תמימותיינה שבע שבתות תמימות תהיינה. Okay, so those words that we just sang, we'll sing them again in a minute as we go into the blessing of counting the Omer. For the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah, Kudsha Brichu is the Holy Blessed One, and the Shekhinah, which is, I feel like if anybody's even studied a little bit of Kabbalah, so they've heard of the Shekhinah, which is like the feminine presence of God, and we love that because we're like, wait, Judaism has a feminine conception of God? Yes, in fact we do, and it's the God that, sort of hangs out among us, and the name Mishkan, actually, that our community comes from, is from that very same root, Shekhinah, which means to dwell, like God's dwelling among us and between us. But this is interesting, for the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah. Hineni muchanu mezuman lasot mitzvah taseh. Here I am, ready and prepared to do this mitzvah. And this is a Kabbalistic formulation, like an incantation, an invocation, that is done before doing all kinds of mitzvot, all kinds of ritual mitzvot, lighting Shabbat candles, or counting the Omer, or like waving a lulav at Sukkot. And what on earth are we praying for? For the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah. So if you're like, oh, I know Kabbalah, I know, hold for a second. This is beautiful, but what does it mean? What might it mean? Please, yeah. Ooh, striving for balance. For who? Can I push you? Okay, all right, so striving for balance, first for me, because I'm the one who's about to do this mitzvah. Okay, others? For the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah, here I stand ready and prepared to do this mitzvah. Yes?
For me, what came to mind is an internal unification of the conception of God as something that is personal. The God and the Shekhinah are already connected, but I think that sometimes it's hard for us to remember that it's very internal and personal.
There's this, that the conception of God, the creator of the universe, that mystical force, whatever it is very personal.
Yes.
And that we ourselves are kind of like fractured about it. Is that what you're saying? And so this is a prayer to harmonize the fracture within ourselves. Am I misquoting you, or am I?
Yeah, no, that's how I think of it.
So that this is a prayer for the sake of the unification of God and the Shekhinah inside of myself. I'm about to do this mitzvah.
And
Yeah.
if I could add one thing on.
Yeah.
That's how I think about all the mitzvot. It's that, like, I'm not, turning down this cheeseburger because it's like something in the sky. And I have to remind myself that.
Yes. Wait, I'm not turning down this. I'm repeating you because of, I'm not turning down this cheeseburger because of, some presence in the sky who's going to zap me. I'm doing it because.
I'm doing it because I'm part of this.
I'm part of what?
I'm part of God.
I am part of God. And by taking the action that I am taking with the intention that I am taking it, I am restoring the harmony between myself and God.
I think the Omer is like that.
And the Omer is like that too. Now everybody's like, oh, I can't top Abby. Anybody else? So these Kabbalists, these mystics who created actually all of Kabbalat Shabbat, like the idea of getting together and singing on a Friday night as a way of welcoming in the Sabbath, they were welcoming in, they would like go out into the fields and welcome in God, from the setting sun, but like the idea of Shabbat. And they had this conception of God as actually having kind of layers. And like way out there, I love this. This is it because it harmonizes with Buddhism really beautifully. Like Buddhism is like, there's the great nothing out there, and Judaism is like, out there is the nothingness without end. Ein Sof, the ayin, the nothingness without end, which is sort of like the most hard to conceptualize way out there version of God. And then the closer you get down to earth, you get to the Shekhinah, who is like a palpable presence among us. And when you say, like, I feel like I can feel God in the room, that's like you and the Shekhinah making out, you know? And that's why on a Friday night, we you know, there's like all of this love imagery, because Friday night is supposed to be actually, I mean, like, these people were highly sexual. I don't know if they were very repressed or very liberated, but like Friday night was the union, like the actual, you know, like the God and the Shekhinah would get it on, and on Friday night. And so, and it's a little weird, like, oh God, we're in the room with that? Yeah, we're making it happen. That's the whole idea. Like, the harder we sing, the more we connect, the more intention we bring, the more God is unified. This idea, and actually, it's not even a, you know, just a Kabbalistic incantation. Every time in the morning when we're saying that, right before we say the Shema, we gather the four corners of our tzitzit together and we say, Yachedcha, God, we are trying to unify you, be'ahava, with love, every single day. So, I put this out there for you as we go into the Omer, which I know for some people is like a, you know, as Rabbi Dina would say, could just be counting, you know? But imagine doing something as simple as counting with the kind of intention that reminds you that you are part of the unification of God in this world. Just like walking around the world, having this intention, L'shem yichud kud shabrichu udshkinte. My job is to unify God as I walk around, as I eat, as I speak. And somehow that actually, the Kabbalists believed, was a part of the tikkun, the healing of the universe, which they believed was actually broken. That God, sort of, in coming into and creating this world, sort of exploded God's self. You know, once upon a time, maybe God was this perfect whole thing, but then the light whoosh, shattered into shards, and the shards are all over the world, and it is our job to pick them up and to collect them and to put them back together. And that is tikkun olam. That is the healing of the world. And that is the putting together of God. So now, I'm going to invite us to stand. We're going to sing this one more time, and then Seth is going to continue the slides for the blessing of counting the Omer. And tonight, well, yesterday we were day 13, and so you can say it in Hebrew with us, or you can say it in English. We've been counting since the second night of Passover, which was exactly 2 weeks ago.
Just
Hayom arba'a asar yom shehem shnei shavuot la'omer. Today is 14 days, which is 2 weeks of the Omer.